Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah Scraps on most social media. I love to play with papers and cut files and lots of fun goodies. Today I am going to be working with products from Cherry on Top, including this gorgeous Winter Vibes cut file. So the owner at a Cherry on Top, her name is Rachel. She's fabulous. She started designing cut files and she has loads and loads of gorgeous designs in the shop over at a Cherry on Top. So I chose this one, which is Winter Vibes, and I'm going to be pairing it with my favorite collection from this winter, which is Simple Stories, A Winter Wonder. I love this line. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to be using some of my supplies today. For my cut file, I wanted to do something different. So I always cut my cut files in coconut swirl cardstock from American Crafts. It cuts amazing on my silhouette. And then I can add whatever little details I want. And I really do like and enjoy to add little details to my cut files. So to start off with, I am going to go ahead, grab an ink blending brush and Kitsch Flamingo Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just going to add some light color to my winter word across the top of my cut file. Kitsch Flamingo is really bright and bold, but when you use it with a blending brush and you just give yourself, don't use a lot of pressure, just a light coating, you get this gorgeous pink that is perfect to match the Winter Wonder collection. For my vibe word, I want to back it with a bunch of different patterns. So I'm going through the 6x8 paper pad and my scraps. Scraps are a great way and a great thing to utilize to back a cut file with. We're going to do something extra special with the B in our word vibes, but for now we're going to go ahead and just back each of the words with a different pattern. For my B here, we are going to turn it into a flat shaker. So I have some acetate, and I'm putting the acetate over the top of the B. And then I'm taking a gel pen and I am tracing the B right along where the white cut file line is. And I'm tracing it twice. I am using a gel pen because it has a nice black line that I'm easily going to be able to cut this acetate out of. And added bonus, in case you didn't know this about gel pens, when you use a gel pen on a sheet of acetate, it will come right off with a baby wipe. So if there are any black lines showing, I can just swipe those right away. So I'm going to cut both of my B's, and I'm cutting right on that black line. So I traced it almost to like the outer edge of the white, and that's going to give me a good amount of room to be able to create a flat shaker for this. This is by far the most tedious part of this process. So you want to have really skinny, like 1/8 inch tear tape or score tape, the absolute thinnest tape you can find. And what you want to do is you want to cover the entire B with the tape, or the entire area that you want to create your flat shaker with this tape. You want to make sure there are no gaps, right? Absolutely no gaps, because we're going to put shaker fill into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover that B with the tear tape. Then we're going to put our first sheet of acetate down. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my shaker fill to the acetate. Now, be very careful. You want flat shaker fill. The flatter, the better. I like sequins. Sequins are nice and flat. Also, as an aside, I have already put another layer of that super thin score tape or tear it tape on top of my first sheet of acetate. I've removed the backing paper so I have sticky edges. So be very careful. Take your time, kind of just lay those little shaker fill pieces where you want them. You can see here I want them to have a little bit of movement, but it doesn't need to have a ton. Again, this is a flat shaker, so we are not doing bulk and we're not doing lots of different layers. So once I have mostly these nice flat sequins onto my shaker, I'm putting the second piece of acetate down and adhering it really good, running my figure along those edges. Make sure that the sequins are not going to fall out. And then I also went ahead and cut another B that's going to fit over the top to back the cut file as well. That being said, you could totally leave this clear if you wanted to and you want your pattern paper or the paper you use as your background to shine through on that B. I am adding some extra gluiness here because, again, there's no such thing as there's no such thing as too much adhesive when you're dealing with shakers and those types of things. And then I'm pressing this down and making sure that there is no way these sequins are coming out of my cut file. And then I'm going to add the little pieces back onto the B, and we are ready to create our layout. So another thing I thought it might be fun to discuss while I am putting this layout together is if you watched my unboxing when I ordered these products from a cherry on top, you remember that they Simple Stories had released 3 different lines. So they released Winter Wonder, Noteworthy, and what was the third one? There was a third one that I really, really liked. I think it was Love Story. And I talked about in that unboxing how I didn't order entire collections. So for 2024, I am trying really, really hard to place responsible, intentional orders, not getting sucked into must have all the things in a collection, because then I end up with too much product and I get bored. I'm that person. I get bored. And so far, I have to say that it has been working out really, really well. And this is an example of how it has been working out. So I've actually been able to work through most of the Winter Wonder that I got in my order, which makes me super happy because next year there's going to be another winter collection that's absolutely stunning and I'm going to need. So I have created, I think, 4 12 by 12 layouts with this Winter Wonder line that I got. I think 4. And I have just enough product left that now I can go into my memory planner and do some winter pages in my memory planner. And that's perfect. Make some cards, maybe do a traveler's notebook spread, but I can move out of 12 by 12 and I have just enough product to create some smaller projects using this collection. And then by the time I get through all of those, this collection will probably be finished. What I bought of this collection will pretty much be finished, which for me is perfect because I'm not keeping a ton of stash here. And next year when winter comes, when the winter lines come out and I'm like, winter lines, this is beautiful, I don't feel guilty about buying some of it because I don't have this year's winter collections staring me in the face because I bought too much. Does that make sense? So I've been really really good, I think, so far this year, about letting myself have new products, but also being mindful, very mindful of how I create and what I use and what I don't use. And so that's been super fun, and I'm super excited about it. So I took one full sheet of 6x8 paper and I put it behind my photos. It's going to mat them both together. And then I want to add a couple of little accent strips. So I just took some scrap pieces and I am just adding a couple of strips across the top and the bottom. And I'm using 6x8 paper and I'm making sure that my seams line up at a good spot, that I can then add some embellishments right there at those seams, and you will never even see them. For embellishments on this layout, I'm going to start with the floral ephemera pack, and I'm going to kind of sift through it and pick out some pretty flowers as a base for some other things on top, I think. But there's our basic page design. It's so cute. So the two photos I'm scrapbooking today are of my two nieces. And we did get a lot of snow in January. And so my brother and sister, they each sent me a photo of my nieces playing in the snow. And it was the same snowstorm. Even though my brother lives a couple hours away, we ended up both getting the same big snowstorm. So I decided to go ahead and just scrapbook both of these photos together. I could have done them as two single pages, but honestly, I'm trying really hard. That's another thing I'm really trying to do this year, is to not have 4 or 5 12x12 albums this year. I'd really like to keep it to 2. So I am trying really hard to kind of combine stories, print photos, smaller, those kinds of things. So this worked out really good. I figured it was the same snowstorm. It's the same time period. We can go ahead and put these photos together. And plus their little pictures looked cute together and were perfect for this collection as well. So while I go ahead and get all of these clusters into place, I will let you know that any available products that I have used on my layout today, I will link up in the description box below. And I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe do you have goals or something you'd really like to accomplish with your scrapbooking this year? I tend to not make those goals in December. I like to get myself kind of organized, see what's going on, look around, and then kind of decide later, like, all right, I think for this year I really want to try to focus on this, or I really want to try to focus on that. I think those kinds of goals are more thoughtful when you do that. So once I had all my florals down, I'm going through my sticker book. I'm going to add some snowflakes around some of my floral clusters. And I also added a label across the top. And right in that label, I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. And then for a last little detail, I'm going to go ahead and take that same sequin mix that I used in my flat shaker element, and I am going to go ahead and kind of scatter some more of those sequins around my layout. That way the sparkle and the shaker behind the bee doesn't seem out of place. By pulling in that little detail element throughout the entire layout, it makes the layout a little bit more cohesive. And that's what we're going to call this project all done. Thank you so very much for joining me today. If you want to get a closer look at the photos, you can check out the link to the Cherry blog in the description box below. And I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Bye.